Under the blazing spotlight of fame, not every smile is pure, and not every handshake is friendly. Behind the glamour, the flashing cameras, and the roar of devoted fans, the entertainment industry hides a battlefield of silent wars. And for Wang Yibo, one of China's most beloved stars, that battlefield nearly destroyed everything he had worked for. This is the story of betrayal, manipulation, and one shocking setup that changed everything. The night was electric. The stage lights glowed like molten gold as Wang Yibo performed his final dance move, ending his concert with a flawless spin. The crowd erupted, chanting his name like a hymn. Cameras flashed from every direction. He smiled, calm, confident, radiant. But deep inside, exhaustion was creeping in. He bowed to the audience, then walked backstage, unaware that his life was about to spiral into chaos. His manager, Chen Hao, was waiting there, smiling too perfectly. "You killed it tonight, Yibo," he said, clapping him on the back. Yibo gave him a tired smile. "Thanks, bro. Just need some rest." But Chen Hao's smile didn't reach his eyes. Behind that mask of professionalism, his mind was already racing, already calculating. For months, jealousy had eaten away at him. He had discovered that another agency wanted to sign a deal that would make the young star even bigger, and in the process, leave Chen Hao behind. He couldn't let that happen. Not when he had built Yibo's image from the ground up. Not when he had invested years controlling his every move, every contract, every decision. If Yibo left him, his power would crumble. His influence would fade. So, Chen Hao made a decision, a dark one. He would destroy Wang Yibo's reputation before he could walk away. Days later, rumors began to circulate online. It started small, a blurry photo of Yibo leaving a hotel late at night. Then another photo, showing a mysterious woman stepping into the same elevator he had just exited. Within hours, hashtags were trending. #Wang Yibo scandal, #Yibo secret affair, #fallen idol. The internet exploded. Fans were divided, some defending him, others heartbroken and enraged. Yibo sat frozen in his living room, scrolling through the chaos on his phone. This isn't real," he muttered. "I was at a rehearsal that night." He called Chen Hao immediately. "What's going on? Who leaked this?" "Calm down, Yibo," Chen replied smoothly. "Let's not make it worse by reacting emotionally. I'll handle it." But Chen wasn't handling it. He was fueling it. He had hired a team of digital manipulators to spread the false story. Fake screenshots, fabricated messages, and even edited videos began surfacing, each one crafted to make Yibo look guilty. Within days, brand deals were suspended. A major endorsement dropped him. One television project quietly replaced his name with another rising actor. It was working. The empire was cracking. One evening, Yibo's closest friend in the industry, Xiao Zhan, came over. The two sat in silence for a long while before Xiao Zhan finally said, "You know someone's doing this to you, right?" Yibo looked up, his eyes dark. "But who would want to destroy me like this?" Xiao Zhan hesitated. "Sometimes the people closest to us aren't what they seem." Yibo frowned. "You mean Chen?" "I'm not saying that," Xiao Zhan replied carefully. "But think, who controls your schedules, your PR, your social media passwords, your connections with the press?" The words hit Yibo like thunder. That night, he couldn't sleep. He began digging, quietly, secretly. He reached out to a trusted tech friend to trace the IP addresses of the fake posts. What he discovered made his blood run cold. Every post, every leak, every fabricated story originated from Chen Hao's office computer. Yibo's hands trembled. He replayed every moment in his head. Chen's fake smiles, his reassuring tone, his constant insistence that he handle things. It all made sense now. He wasn't being managed. He was being manipulated. The next morning, Yibo confronted Chen. The tension in the air was thick enough to choke on. "You used me," Yibo said quietly, his voice steady but laced with fury. "You're the reason my name is being dragged through the mud." Chen didn't flinch. "You think you can just walk away from me? Yibo, I made you. I built your image. You owe everything to me." "I owe you nothing," Yibo shot back. You destroyed me. Chen smirked, leaning back in his chair. Destroyed you? No, I just reminded you who's in control. Without me, you're just another face. I can make you vanish with one phone call. Yibo stared at him in disbelief. Then do it, because after today, I'll make sure the world knows exactly who you are. He turned and walked out, his mind racing with fury and resolve. For weeks, Yibo stayed out of the spotlight. But behind the scenes, he was building his counterattack. With help from Xiao Zhan and a few trusted allies, he gathered evidence, emails, transactions, and witness statements that tied Chen directly to the smear campaign. When the evidence was finally airtight, Yibo went public. He didn't hold a press conference. He didn't rant on livestream. Instead, he released a quiet, devastating video. In it, he sat under soft lighting, calm and composed, his eyes clay. Fame is a strange thing, he began. It gives you everything, but it also brings people who want to take it all away. For the past month, I've watched lies spread about me. I've stayed silent, not because I'm guilty, but because I wanted the truth to speak louder than rumors. And now, it will. He then revealed screenshots, recordings, and legal documents. The internet went silent. Chen Hao's name trended instantly, but not as a respected manager. He was exposed as the mastermind behind a calculated betrayal. Within 24 hours, he was fired, blacklisted, and facing legal action for defamation and fraud. The tide turned. Fans flooded Yibo's page with messages of love and support. Brand deals returned. TV stations issued apologies. And for the first time in months, Yibo smiled again, genuinely, freely. But something inside him had changed. One evening, as he stood on the rooftop of his apartment, city lights glimmering beneath him, Xiao Zhan joined him. You got your justice, Xiao Zhan said softly. Yibo nodded. Yeah, but I also learned something. What's that? That trust, once broken, can never truly be fixed. Fame isn't what hurts you. It's the people hiding behind it. The wind carried his words into the night, cold but freeing. He had been betrayed by the one person he trusted most. But he had risen from it, stronger, wiser, and more guarded. From then on, Yibo took full control of his career. No more blind trust. No more handlers who pulled the strings. He built a new team, loyal, transparent, and rooted in truth. And when he stepped back onto the stage months later, the cheers were louder than ever. The lights were brighter. And this time, the smile on his face wasn't forced. It was real. The betrayal had forged a new version of him, one who knew the price of fame and the value of freedom. Wang Yibo was no longer a star controlled by others. He was his own man, his own force, his own truth. And as the crowd roared his name again, he whispered to himself, "They tried to destroy me, but they only made me unstoppable." The night had started like any other. Music, lights, fans screaming his name, and Wang Yibo standing under the glittering beams, owning the stage like king. But behind that dazzling performance, destiny was already writing a darker script. Backstage, the air was filled with the smell of sweat, perfume, and success. Assistants rushed around with bottled water and towels, the walls vibrating from the roar of thousands still chanting his name. Wang Yibo, still catching his breath, smiled faintly as his manager, Chen Hao, walked toward him. "Another perfect show," Chen said, clapping slowly, his grin wide, but something about that grin felt strange tonight. Yibo nodded, wiping his face. Yeah, it felt good. The fans were incredible. Chen's eyes flickered with something unspoken. He had been Yibo's manager for years, watching him rise from a quiet trainee to a global superstar. But lately, their relationship had grown strained. Yibo had started taking more control, turning down projects, questioning contracts, making independent choices. To Chen, that was a threat. He had built Yibo's empire, and he wasn't going to watch it slip away. "Don't forget your dinner with the sponsors tonight," Chen said smoothly, handing Yibo his phone. "It's important." Yibo frowned. "Tonight? You didn't mention that before." "I told you last week," Chen lied effortlessly. "They insisted on meeting you personally." "Big deal. Just show up, smile, sign a few things. Reluctantly, Yibo agreed. But that single decision would set off a chain of events he could never imagine. The dinner took place in a luxury hotel, all gold ceilings and velvet curtains. The air smelled of expensive wine and hidden motives. Yibo arrived dressed simply. Black suit, silver chain, and that quiet charisma that made every head turn. Inside, Chen was already waiting at a private table with three others, a man in a gray suit, a woman with red lipstick, and a young reporter with a sly smile. They all rose as Yibo entered. "Mr. Wang." Finally, the man greeted, shaking his hand. Cameras flashed subtly, too subtly. Yibo felt a twinge of discomfort but brushed it off. The conversation began light-heartedly. Music, endorsements, future plans. But as the night went on, the tone shifted. The wine kept flowing, and Chen kept pushing. "Relax, Yibo. Have another drink," Chen insisted, pouring him a glass. "I'm good," Yibo replied politely. But Chen leaned closer. "Come on, just one. You've earned it." Under pressure, Yibo took a sip. Then another. The warmth of the alcohol settled into his chest. The laughter around the table grew louder. The woman with the red lipstick laughed a little too easily, leaning toward him, touching his arm. Cameras clicked again, quietly, hidden behind half-empty wine glasses. He didn't notice. After the dinner, Chen offered to drop him off, but Yibo waved him off. "I'll go home myself. You should rest." "Of course," Chen said, smiling, his eyes glinting coldly. That was the last smile Yibo would ever trust. The next morning, chaos erupted online. A photo of Wang Yibo, half-drunken, his eyes tired, and the same red-lipped woman sitting beside him, exploded across social media. Headlines screamed, "Wang Yibo's secret scandal exposed. Drunk star caught in private hotel meeting. The golden boy's hidden life revealed." Yibo's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Messages flooded in. His agency, his friends, the media. He scrolled through the photos, stunned. They were cropped, edited, twisted. It looked like something it wasn't. He called Chen immediately. "What the hell is this?" Chen sighed on the other end, pretending confusion. "What do you mean? I just saw it too. It's probably paparazzi." "Calm down, Yibo. We'll fix it." "Fix it?" Yibo snapped. "These photos are from last night. That dinner, you arranged it." Chen's tone hardened. "Watch your words. I'm on your side." But even through the phone, Yibo could sense the lie. The voice that once felt safe now sounded like a stranger's. Hours turned into days, and the storm grew worse. Fake screenshots appeared, text messages implying inappropriate relationships, audio clips that were clearly manipulated, and anonymous sources claiming Yibo had lost control. Every time he tried to explain, the internet twisted his words. His agency stayed silent, his sponsors began to back away, and his manager, his supposed protector, kept telling him to wait it out. But wait for what? One night, Yibo decided he couldn't sit still anymore. He drove to Chen's office, unannounced. The building was dark except for the soft glow from Chen's office window. Yibo pushed the door open and froze. Chen was there, alone, talking quietly on the phone. "Yes, keep spreading the pictures," he said. "Use the ones with the woman's hand on his arm. Make it look romantic. The narrative must stay alive until next week." Yibo's heart stopped. He stepped forward slowly, the words falling from his lips like ice. "So it was you." Chen froze mid-sentence. His face went pale before twisting into a smirk. "Yibo, I can explain." "There's nothing to explain," Yibo said coldly. "You set me up. You used me." Chen leaned back in his chair, his calmness terrifying. "Used you? No, I made you. Everything you have, your fame, your fans, your name, came through me. I own you." "You own nothing," Yibo spat. "You betrayed me." Chen stood, stepping closer. "You think you can leave me, Yibo? If I go down, I'll take you with me. One more rumor, one more picture, and your career is finished." But Yibo didn't back down. His voice was low, dangerous. "Do what you have to do. But remember this. You built my fame, not my spirit. You can't destroy what you never created." That night, Yibo walked out into the cold street, his hands trembling, his eyes burning. The city lights blurred around him, and for the first time, he felt the weight of true betrayal. The one person he trusted most had turned into his enemy. He returned home, stood in front of the mirror, and whispered to his reflection, "They think they broke me, but this is just the beginning." He started calling contacts quietly, reaching out to people who owed him favors, people who still believed in his character. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but if Chen wanted war, then war was what he'd get. Because this wasn't the end of Wang Yibo's story. It was the birth of his fight. Dear viewers, this was just the beginning of Wang Yibo's setup, the betrayal that shattered his trust and nearly ended his career. But the storm hasn't passed yet. The truth is still unfolding. If you want to see what happens next, how Wang Yibo rises from the ashes, exposes his manager, and reclaims his power, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel.